Hello. Hello, everyone. Gonna open up my soda. Blurry, how's it going? Oh, man. I got some Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Ooh, man. All right. Figure I'm gonna work on the projectile system invocation spells. Let's look to see. I started to work on it a little off stream, and I figured, you know, I might as well just stream, right? Even if it's just for a little bit. So I was working on the fire. Since I don't know shaders too well, this is literally just trial and error. I am changing random variables, random numbers in the math, trying to make things that I think look cool. So /time set day, let's do /time stop. So the fireball so far is that. We get a closer look. I can pause it. So I got reds, orange, and of course yellow. It spirals and rotates. Quite good. Struggling with modeling a creature and waiting for that one cool vintage story mod developer to drop that next part of his tutorial. Yeah, I gotta do that. I gotta do that. It's been a rough week. So we had our vacation, which it was a trip. You know, there were some fun parts of it, but you know, having a young one in a non-child-proof house on the beach when they can't be out in the sun, sleep schedule thrown off, didn't really sleep at all. And then of course, you know, get home and the house is just like a wreck and it's got to be cleaned and gotta work. That's why, like, even for this, it hasn't, there hasn't been, like, significant progress, I should say. That's why we're working on projectiles. I think it looks pretty good. I wanted, like, a ball shape. You can hit the black bear, but it doesn't do any damage to something that has no health. It actually goes through non-solid objects. I did program it for that, so if we shoot it in there, see, it actually goes through. IRL first, hobbies later. Yeah. Oh, I think this thing is dead. Nope. So this is the weak ember spell. It doesn't do a lot of damage. But I don't know, I think it's got potential. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mess with the spell a little bit. Maybe try and fine-tune it. It's not exactly how I want it to be. So if we take a look at it fast, whoops. Let me shoot another one. I gotta be like quick, there we go. So I don't like the fact that it has this, like, the red is really hard to see. You know what I mean? Like, the yellow's fine. I think the orange is good. I like how it spirals and kind of bleeds into it a little bit. But the red, you can't really see the red. So let's look at the shader stuff. And you know what? I'm remembering this. I think it was actually with this. If I make this, I think that's why I have this stuff commented out. So if I do dot reload shaders, now let's shoot it. See, it's a more defined line this time. I think you could see the red a little better. Kind of looks like a bubble, you know? It actually looks pretty huge. Let's pull up hitboxes. I think I need to shrink everything down because this is the level 1 Ember spell. I think it doesn't need to be as ridiculous as I'm making it, you know, with size. Maybe the bigger, more powerful spells can have a bigger size and look more impressive. I just want this to be like a little ball of magic. What am I gonna do? What am I looking at here? I need to... Let's take a look at this here. Yeah, I need to enable hitboxes. We got to see how big the hitbox is compared to what I'm actually doing with the renderer. So I may have to adjust some sizes. Alright, so that command should be right up here. Here we go, show debug wireframe. Boop. Now we'll be able to see. So I can kind of, it looks like I have it over, but we can see the box here probably goes to here and here. So it's actually off center as well. Okay, there we go. We can see the box. You know, it doesn't look off center. It actually looks like it should be right in the center. We got the red lines here. Yeah, that bad boy is center right there. The hitbox is pretty big. Maybe I should shrink that hitbox down. Maybe smaller, yeah, with more particles around it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I may want to take a snapshot of this, though, because I do like the, you know, I do like it bigger. You know, I could do something with this outer ring. We could try and darken that. Like, if that was just a little more red, I think it would be, like, spot on. Let's go into the renderer here. I think in order to darken it, I can just, I could probably run this a second time. There we go. That, I like that. I do like that quite a bit. So let's see what it looks like just shooting now. You know what, though? It's like, I like it, but maybe the lines are too defined now. And what you're seeing, like when I hit escape, the client and the server are not agreeing with how long the shader stays out. It's just a synchronization thing. So see, it disappears, but the projectile's still there. It's still there, so. All right, so I think I'm gonna take a snapshot of this. I do like this. I think I'm gonna have different renderers depending on the tier spell. So what I'm gonna have to do is shut down the game. I'm gonna copy and paste this. I'm gonna call this, what am I gonna call this? I'll say tier 4. Yes, tier 4. Oh, it didn't do the .cs. Come on, man. There we go. This one is going to be tier 1. I need to change a couple of things. I got to change the rendering for this. Like, this needs to have tier 1 in it. This one right here. Oh, it does have tier 1 already. So then this needs to be tier 4. This should be tier 4. And this should be tier 4. Gotta fix that. There we go. Now what I have to do is go into assets, entities, projectiles. We have to assign this new renderer. Right here, this needs to be tier 1. I create a dummy shape. Yeah, textures by type. I guess I don't really need that. I don't think I need that. Wonder if I can just make it none, because I want to leave it just in case I do want to have like an image, a texture over it. Maybe I can make like a 3D model of something in there, and then the shader is just the extra part around it. So I could take out the yellow, and I can have that be like a 3D ball with textured over, and then I can just have the shader just offset a little behind, like where the player would see. So you would see the ball, and then you would see all the fire and everything in there. So I want to leave this. Let me do default. That way it's just empty. You should take reference from WoW spell effects as small projectile. Get it spitting out particles while flying. The problem is it's that there are two... I'm kind of new at this. So shaders and particles, they are two separate systems. I do have right now, there are particles, if you notice, that kind of get left behind. I'm just trying to work on the shader. I'm trying, because I have no idea how to do shaders. Particles, I can do particles. Although I have only 2 types of particles. WoW's engine's a little more robust when it comes to those particles. Alright, let's rebuild. So I should have separated this out. The projectile should look the same, but it should be using the tier 1 renderer, and then I can start adjusting the sizes. Man, that's good. It would be awesome to have like WoW-like projectiles. The WoW spells look good. Right, so it's the same thing. But we should be using... I'll get rid of the tier 4, so we're using this. First thing I'm going to want to do is... I'm going to reduce the size of the core first, so this is going to be the yellow. I think for this I'm going to have to do reloads because I'm initializing everything upon first load. I did fireball it in, right? I guess we'll see. Nope, did not work. Alright, I fireball now. Here we go. Reload. But I do want to incorporate particles in the shader. Ideally, I think the perfect combination of like a projectile spell would be a 3D model with particles that come off of it, with a you know, with the shader kind of behind it to accent it. That's weird. It's not doing what I would expect it to be doing. If I make this 1. Oh, you know what I could probably do? I could probably do this all in real time if I just come down to... I'm thinking here on frame. So if I can change it here... Ah, see, so that's right. It's just getting bigger. So I need to make this number bigger because it's like an inverse, so it's gonna shrink the middle. So if I make this 7, fireball it in. There we go. See, now it shrunk a little bit more. Let's move it to the side. What if I make this like 15? I want this to be fairly small. So it looks like it got to a certain point. Oh, you know what it is? Let's go back into the shader. The one variable that I was screwing with in the shader right here. Let's mix this back down to this. All right, dot reload shaders. Okay, it should be really small now. Okay, it's smaller. What if I make this 1? Fucking huge. It's huge. Oh man. It does look pretty cool. I like the color. Right, so it's pretty, you know, that would be pretty good for like the lightning spell, wouldn't it? I could have like hints of blue and maybe like a darker yellow in the background, and then with it like kind of circulating like that. You know, the way it kind of zigzags is kind of like lightning-y. I may have found the lightning spell by accident. That looks kind of cool, yeah, right? So let's round this out here. Fire, water, earth, wind. I will do electric. I'm going to copy this. Whoops, did not mean to do that. I meant to do that. So I'll keep the yellow for the core. The orange, let's... You know what? Maybe we could keep the orange because that is kind of like a darker version there. What if I make the red? Kind of wonder what it would look like as white. It's not gonna load. I think I'm gonna have to reload. Probably like this. And see the whole desync too. That's why I get a burst of rust-looking particles. Again, right, as you hit escape, like the client isn't paused. Like I'm not doing a pause check is what it is on the client side. Oh wait, I'm doing the fire spell still. All right, let's meditate. Time stop. / time. Speed 0. Okay, what do we got here? Here's the lightning spell. Let's do it in place of the ice spell. There we go. Oh man, I set the timer. I gotta change the cast timer on all these projectiles. Set you a PM, it would be cool. Would be so cool. Oh wait, ah, darn it, I missed it. I think it looked okay. It would be cool to look in 3D picture in far future. Oh, you sent it to me in Discord, I think. Let's pull up old Discord, yeah. Yeah, right. Like, yeah, those are totally WoW spells. It would be awesome. I just don't know how to do that. I don't know if the game's rendering engine could even handle something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I had like Unity or something, that'd be one thing, but those are like, I mean, you know, WoW spells look good. That makes me want to play WoW now. Damn it. Kind of want to play WoW. Oh yeah, in Discord. Oh man. I've been feeling the itch to like get into some kind of game, some kind of like MMO. I almost bought that new game, Tectonica, but there's no combat in it. Like, I love Satisfactory. I know I would like the game, but I just wanted like a little survival, right? Like, give me a reason to like build up a base. All right, so what was that? Thunderbolt? No, that was not Thunderbolt. We're looking at tier 1 spells. That was Spark. Nope, this is not tier 1 spells. Here we go, tier 1 spells, Spark. Let's change the cast time to only 2 seconds. We're not doing anything with mana cost yet. Invocation, Electric, that should be good for testing. You know, for now, I'm actually just going to change everything. Chill, cast time will be 2 seconds. Bio, 2 seconds. Ether, 2 seconds. Geo, Gust, Splash. Ember is already 2 seconds. Rust Volley should be, yep, that is 2 seconds. We got one more in here, don't we? Yeah, I got Gleam and Shade. So there's that one, and Shade is there. Boop, there we go. 3D main fireball, then adding fire effect from fire pit behind it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Tectonica looks great, but no conflict is a flaw for me. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I mean, it's cool because it's like you can dig, right, with that little black hole gun. But then I was looking at some of the stuff because you automatically pit it against like Satisfactory, right? And I'm like, well, it's like a younger Satisfactory, you know. I'm watching people play, and it's like, well, they're laying down like the floor grid, but it's all like electric floor grid, so you're not really. I don't know. It seems like it would be a game that I would want to get into when it's a little more mature. You know, let it get a couple big updates behind it, and then I would probably give it a try. By the way, have you taken a look at Enshrouded? I think I saw that on Steam. Let's pull this up. It's not released yet, right? It's one of the coming soons. Enshrouded Steam. I think it's on my wish list. Yeah, I did see this. I just don't know. Like, it says like it's a co-op survival up to 16 players. Actually, this is a little better than I thought it would be. I think I was watching something and they were like doing like action rolls and stuff.
Welcome back to Enshrouded. Today let's talk about voxel-based.
Yeah, okay, so it is voxel based. You know, it kind of reminds me of EverQuest Next when I played that for a while, like with the voxel building. Except EverQuest Next was a little more cartoony. Man, I would love to play this right now. I would totally play this. Like, just the building, I'm like, ooh. The fact that I know it has enemies. Let's kind of skip ahead. Yeah, you like the see, I like that. Polished wooden doors and different props. Oh man, yeah. Dragon head right above the hearth. That looks good. Isn't this supposed to come out this year? Yeah, planned release date 2023. I'm not signed in, but this is part of my wish list. Yeah, I want to play it. No PvP. I'm okay with no PvP as long as I can like play with others and we can explore the world like the world's worth exploring. Eesh, I don't know if I like that. You know what? Maybe it doesn't need... Maybe it doesn't need the background. Just get rid of that. It's too big. It's too big. Okay, I think I know what I have to do here. We're gonna stop. I'm gonna copy this out. We'll work on lightning a little bit. So I'll be able to directly impact the electric stuff here. What I want to do probably is make this just path contains electric. Should probably be dash electric. Yeah, building looks really satisfying. Yeah, because I mean, you know, it's like Vintage Story. There, I guess technically I could throw a spear at someone and hit them, but it's not like there's like arenas and stuff. But Vintage Story's still fun. Like as long as the world is engaging, and it makes me want to like be in it and survive and find resources, and I can play with others. That'd be great. Here, we'll look at the combat. I like the action rolling in the combat. Just kind of running around. Yeah, look at that. Okay, let's go in the middle here. I love the destruction. And the blocking's pretty cool. Ah, spell casting. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I would love to play it. I would love it. Okay, so I think, you know what I could probably do? I could cut this code right out. I could apply this as I render the frames. So I can stop the current active shader. I could do a check to see if it contains electric. By the way, there will be an NDA test real soon. That'd be nice. Kind of like what Witcher and Dark Souls have done to games. You know, one of the games that I wish would have went through, I think it was called like Dark and Light. Like that one, it's like they had something that was potentially good, like the way your character moved. You know, like the whole, like, you know, building in the world, the enemies, like some of the undead and stuff looked really cool. You know, like they had kind of like the economy going on, town NPCs, right? Like it had a lot of potential, and then it's like they just dropped it in the polish part and then just abandoned the game. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. So I think I could do something similar to this. That way I can just hit pause and now I can modify a lot of aspects of this. Let's get rid of those red because this is technically not red. Let's rebuild and start again. Dark and Light was real nice. Wasn't there some drama with it? Medev's having some conflict with art developers. Maybe, I don't know, whatever it was, but oh man. I keep going back to it, hoping that, you know, someone else picks it up or I don't know, something. It was just, it was cool. It was definitely cool. A lot of potential. There we go. So I have this. What I can do now, we could put that kind of loading there so we can still see it. Need to go AFK, so I'll be back in a few minutes. It sounds good to me. Arc 2 would be another game that I would like to see. Let's make this 6. Ah, okay. So it looks like by decreasing the size, I am decreasing the footprint. That kind of sucks. So if I make this something like 10, let's look at the spiked ball here. projectile, fog. You know, I could give it a try. I could try and pipe fog back in. It looks like with the fog we actually did get a little more back, but no, it looks like we didn't. Looks like it didn't do anything. I could try and change the way it's smoothing. It's kind of hard to tell, like, which way, you know, is making the impact. Because, see, I'm changing all of this stuff here. And I'm not getting anything. And I'm pretty sure it's not because of, I'll reload. I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with reloading, though. Alright, let's cast the spell again. Yeah, it has nothing to do with my, me reloading. So I'll just put this back to what it was before. I don't want to mess with the frames. I don't want to mess with the count either. This is the translation, so X, Y, Z. I think the translation's fine. Everything else here is fine. This is just the counter. This is for the rotation. Which, again, I think my rotation is okay. And then this is the particles that would be spawning as well. And then this is my counter. I think the main thing that I'm gonna have to change is gonna be within the shader itself. So I may have to make another branch of my shader for maybe just smaller projectiles. Or I can make a shader that's specific to lightning. Or at least part of a shader, because I am applying multiple shaders right now. So in order to do that, we're going to have to shut down the game. I'm going to have to go into shaders. I'm going to copy Spike. Okay, yes, Spike, I will do electric. Do. Alright, we'll get these two up. I'm gonna put these in their own window. Alright, so in here, now that I have that, I'm gonna have to create a variable for it. So this is gonna be Spike Electric. Down here, I'm gonna have to do Spike Electric. Copy and paste this. This will be Spike Electric. Copy and paste Spike Electric. Copy this, paste this, so it's gonna be Spike Electric. I'm just gonna copy Electric. Because I gotta paste it here, 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 here. Right here, right here. Right there. And then what I want to do is create a new variable, copy, paste. This is going to be called spike electric. Basically, I want everything within these bounds here to be this. Let's collapse this, copy everything, almost everything. There we go. Copy that. Let's do selection. 19. That sounds like a valid number. There we go. So everything here is now spike electric. And what I need to do is come back to the top inside electric. Copy paste. I'm gonna comment out the spike here. I'm gonna do electric, electric. This is going to be for the core primary color, which is yellow, and everything else is fine that I'm passing. Start closing some of this stuff out. Like this, I don't need anymore. But shoot an electric ball. All right, again, that's what it's going to be. Let's minimize that. Come on, where are the shaders that I pulled out? Here we go. Here they are. I believe it's in here, right? So this is the spike noise. Let me go back to the old spike noise. So this is what we have right now, but if I do a dot reload shaders, didn't really change much, did it? Let's try and actively change the size to something ridiculous. See, it didn't even do anything. Close out of those two. Let's go back to this. Let's make the seed a little bigger. So making the seed bigger, it looks like it made a lot of other things a lot bigger too. So what if I reduce the size then? What if I do just like 10? Not really getting the effects that I would have hoped for. So this is everything with the noise. What if I come down to here? Start playing around with this a little bit. So K, what if I make this 10? Shoot, another. Kind of made it bigger, didn't it? Interesting. Now I'm curious, what if I make this a little bigger, right? What if I bring this back down to just 1? See, it's not actually taking it anymore. This has to be correct. Let's get rid of that. Oh, that's why. So the size was changing. I just had two overlapping. See, now it's a tiny little ball. In percentage, how far do you think you are with this mod for first release? Well, I guess that kind of depends on what I would consider a worthy first release. If I were to not include invocation spells and summoning spells, it would be pretty much ready. I would want to play test it a little bit, but we can test some of the stuff here because I have made a lot of changes, right? You know, you can clay form this stuff. I've tested that numerous times. Make sure transmutation works here. Yep, that's good. That's good. You notice the particle stopped. When that happens, it's actually because I'm screwing with shaders right now. But I can also fix... I think I could fix it by just doing this in the test world. Delete, yes. I should probably start fresh if I'm playtesting this. But you can unlock magic. Meditation fully works. The spellbook and the staff have had numerous iterations. The spellbook works fine. Like everything, like all tier 1 works really well. For tier 2, hold on. Tier 2 would need a little work. Like I don't have the magic circle done, but I don't need to have it. Like that could be like a, you know, another update. Like all the main spells for each tier is not done. I don't have any mage armor, but like if I were to just release this mod and like here's tier 1, here's some spells to play with, they work fine. All the buff spells work. I've playtested the crap out of them. They are definitely working. Clockmaker. See, I got a bunch of flavor text here. Let's get rid of the rain. There we go. You start off with 10 mana. Technically, I guess I got 11 mana. I'd have to look at that. But I can sit, meditate. Meditation works. There we go. You would make your book. You would make your staff. Eventually, you would make your temporal bracelet. I guess I would have to come up with a recipe for the temporal bracelet. But I can attune the staff. Boop. That is spellbound. It automatically gave me transmutation. Oh, I gotta fix the tooltips here. So now if I pull this out, pull this out. Insufficient mana. I gotta sit and meditate. It's really close to like an initial release. It just depends on how many spells I want available. There we go. I think it only takes 3 mana to do these conversions. But I have the leveling system in, so as you use spells and as you spend or regain mana points, you can raise your maximum mana, which I definitely like that system quite a bit. Now I'll get just enough mana here, right? So spell casting, bam, there's that. So the transmutation altar is going to be how you make magic stones and some of the core items for the mod. What you could do is you can cast transmutation on here and it stores your mana points, and then you would turn it on. So let me get an admin item out. Boop. So I can cast Transmutation a couple of times on this. I'll do it 2. That should give me 6 mana. Yep, see, I got 6 mana there. So what I could do is mine any kind of stone, for instance. We'll get chalk, whatever. You know, I'll be able to put it in. You'll see the chalk right up top. I'll start it. It will go through, and you'll see like it's doing stuff. It's a pretty quick time, but this, you know, I'm getting lesser mana stones. It takes 3 each. So with the lesser mana stones and the fact that you will get drops from killing monsters, you use your Oculus to research spells. So if I get a bunch of knowledge fragments, and I'm just going to admin myself a bunch of mana stones. There we go. You know, I can put the mana stones in, I can put the fragments in, and then it will just start researching spells. See, it tells me it's going to look up for a random tier 1 spell. It takes a long time to research the spells, but that's kind of like the time sink, right? So you can kind of let this run. You can see, like, again, right, I have the items there, the animations. When it's done, I will see the scroll sitting on top. But, you know, like, so some of the base stuff is kind of working for the mod. Let me meditate a little more. I'll make the bracelet because that helps with meditation immensely. You gain 1/4 of a mana each tick for meditation without a bracelet. A bracelet, you'll gain 1 whole mana, so it's 4 times as fast. So your first bracelet's going to be a huge upgrade. And for tier 1, you can increase your maximum mana all the way up to 50 mana points before you need to go to tier 2 to increase it further. Oh yeah, and you can't meditate with other items in your hand. You either have to have empty hands, or you could be holding a staff or a spellbook in your hand and you will still meditate. But after meditating so long, right? So spending, doing spells or meditating to regain mana, I'm accumulating internal experience right now to be able to get another point of permanent mana. So there's that. So I'm going to soulbind this to myself. There we go. Now I can put that on. And see, it like changes too. Like initially it just says bracelet linked to the Rust world. You know, hold sneak plus right click to soulbind, costs 10 mana. So when you do it, it actually becomes more, right? You know, channels rustic power, increases mana regeneration while meditating, tells you what it does, tells you who it's soulbound to. In this case, it's me, it's mage equipment, durability. So I can equip that now. And then if I sit down to meditate, see, we got 1 out of 11 here. Each tick, I should gain a whole mana point. Yep, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam. If we go into, if I add some things, right? Like you'll have leaves, right, in the world. Let's look at, I don't know, whatever, redwood. You know, like you can go to trees with your spells. You'll be able to cast transmutation on things like the leaves to get automatic sticks, right? So you get a stick, and then there's a 10% chance to gain a seed, you know, for whatever tree type you're transmuting. So it's a little easier, right? By the way, have you checked the early mod toolkit? If so, what are your thoughts on it? What do you mean? What's the early mod toolkit? I'm not sure what that is. Insufficient mana. Oh, a buddy of mine's playing Guild Wars 2? What? I don't think Guild Wars 2 is a game that I would want to play. I've played it a couple of times. I don't know. There's nothing that really keeps me going. Check Vintage Story Mod DB for early mod toolkit. All right, I'll take a look at it. There, while I'm meditating. Let's see, vintage story. Mods. All mods. Early mod toolkit, in-game mod browsing. This is it, right? So what is it just? So it just enhances the, right? Does it just, does it just enhance the mod section? Yep. Okay. Present this file is enough to get the mod and its assets to load early for modding languages and textures on the screen. But you can specify the field and JSON attribute reload title boolean to change, disabling, enabling the mod's title screen should be loaded. Specify the field and load order to change the order of the mods and its assets get loaded. Yeah, I don't really... If this is the section, I don't really see the merit in it, you know? Okay, so just you take a JSON and you can load it early, but you can already hook into, like, if you're making a mod, you can already pick, you know, at what stage you load and, you know, an asset or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I look at it and I don't see, you know, like, I don't see a use, you know, for like anything that I would be doing. It's interesting though. I do like the, you know, the format. Like, I feel like something like this should be how vanilla is, right? Like, I should be able to, yeah, update all. I should be able to browse things. I should, you know, I don't know. Just it looks more pleasing. Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. My first thought was, it was the animation limit thing. I didn't get that at all for that. I mean, does it specifically say animation? Yeah, it has nothing to do with the animation limiting. I have no idea. I do wanna figure out like an object file. I want to make an OBJ file and try and import it to see if like the animations and everything work. Normal means without making client crash for the first time. You can't change it. I don't know. I mean, have you tried it? Honestly, I feel like it should be oh, my mana, no, my mana did not change. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, so I can cast the spell 3 times, still have to meditate. See, the thing is, like, I mean, if you test it and it works and you can get big animations going, I would probably try and send Tyron that. You know, because something like that should be trivial for him to just put in innately. I thought there was an issue with the way the engine parses things. But him and I didn't talk about it. You know, it's been a while. It's been months and months and months. You know, I'm doing this here. I don't think the leveling... Oh, there it is. Your maximum mana has increased, finally. So see, I got 12 mana points now. So if I meditate, you know, so you can, it just takes time, you know, actually casting spells and meditating. I was thinking about maybe cutting the time in half. Or limiting or cutting the time down, but making it to where just as you cast spells, you gain the experience to increase your maximum mana. So it's the act of casting spells, not just, you know, that and meditation. Yeah, what other, so it did work. It might be the performance, which is why the limit's there. Yeah, I mean, well, if that's the case, then he's got to optimize it, right? You know, it's just like what I used to tell, because I used to do the Minecraft modding, and in the start, like, you know, my one buddy's like, you should make a big rainbow in the sky, then I want to ride it, and I want to make a big blimp and this, and I want to move, and I'm like, it's still, the game's still Minecraft, you know, like, I'm still at the limitation of the rendering engine for this game and how it's going to use resources. Like, I can't make the Bifrost magically appear and this awesome epic staff that's, you know, 3D and realistic. I'm like, you know, you got to stay in a lane, buddy. Like, if you want something like that, then you gotta, you know, play that game, right? You know, for something like this, it's, I don't know, you know, it depends on how this game's utilizing those resources. He's been going through and trying to, like, fix things, right? Trying to optimize things. But even the world generation's a little less than Minecraft at this point. Like, we got oceans, which are great, but those oceans are just like, it feels like it's like negative noise, you know, that just defaults. Like, it's not detecting the biome itself, right? It's just like, this is just a big pit, and there's nothing else that kind of renders within this big pit. It's just kind of like a dark void, you know? Like, it's gonna take time, I think. But I'm really interested in doing the OBJ stuff. I was thinking of just getting like a test OBJ file. I just don't know how to do it, you know? Oh yeah, I put 33 mana into this bad boy so far. And this thing is still, yeah, it's 10% done. So you got your bar, like, you know, I got all the visual cues, like, for a 1.0 release, this would definitely do the trick. I was thinking about how people should level up. Like, once you meet all the criteria for leveling up. From asking around, OBJ is supported for blocks, but not for creatures. At least if no code used. For entities. So it's not... Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of it, right? Like, if I do an OBJ, right? Like, I want it to be an entity. That sucks. That's unfortunate. I'm wondering if I should just comment out the projectile system, you know, the attacking system, and then just have like a 1.0 alpha release. You know, kind of prune out all of the spells that I know are not working and give people, like, you know, like entry-level access to this. Because a lot of this stuff, I mean, it's working fine. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to create the spell book. Boop. I think I have the stuff. So if I do staff, inert staff, yeah, so you make a club, you get a chunk of quartz and a knife, and you can make your inert staff. The spell book. So we got the inert spell book, and it's going to take any kind of book. And then, of course, clear quartz and a knife, right? And you get the spell book. I think I just did like a copy just to get something in. That may end up changing. but you would need a book to, you know, so having it have to be a book, you either have to get lucky and find a book like in a ruin, right? Or you'll have to like make a book, you know, and you would have to have parchment, right? In this case, some kind of leather. So you would have to kind of be a little further anyways in your progress in the game to be able to unlock magic. And now I can meditate. So I got the spell book. I did change some things here. First of all, you don't start off with any spells in your spell book. You have to research, learn a spell. So what I can do is, let's pull up a spell scroll. I'll get a bunch of them. Right, so you begin to discover a new spell. I discovered the spell Resist Fire, work in progress, so that's a shitty spell. I'll learn a couple spells here. Surface Ascent is not working yet. I gotta fix that spell, or I gotta do it. Here we go, Silent Steps. Silent Steps is pretty cool. That's a buff you put on yourself. Makes it to where you become pretty much invisible to aggressive animals. It's really neat. But see, I got my spell icons here. It's gonna reorder things alphabetically, so even though I learned Silent Steps last, it will reorder. Depending on how good your spellbook is, you'll be able to, you know, look at your different tier spells. Now I can access Silent Steps, cast it on myself. Oop. See, it kind of put it on me. You begin to blend into your environment as the flavor text. If I put down a wolf, and this is the lowest version of this spell, I probably should test it. Slash game mode 1. Right, so tier 1 version of this spell is not going to be that great. There we go. See, I can get kind of close. If I become a tier 4 mage, here we go. Learn all spells. So I became a tier 4 mage. Now I can cast that same spell. Nope, I gotta memorize it again. You sound normally. I gotta change that flavor text. Depends on how you feel about it. If you do that, you would get early feedback on it. Yeah, it depends on what you decide to do later. As some might expect things to be able to use next versions without starting a new playthrough. Yeah, that's kind of the, you know, the thing I'd be up against, huh? You know, if I get it out without every type of spell, and then I want to change something huge afterwards, then it's going to be harder because people are going to be like, well, I like the old way. Here, I'll go back into game mode 1. So I have Silent Steps on me now. Did I nerf this too much? I think I may have nerfed this a little too much. Alright, so I can get a lot closer. Oh, yeah, so it's just not as good as it was. I'd say that's actually pretty good. I used to be able to go right on top of it, and I think I changed it so you can't do that anymore. But yeah, you get too close, and it's gonna take a bite out of you still. So I didn't want Silent Steps to be like completely overpowered. You put it on at tier 4, and you become virtually invisible to all the aggroing NPCs. It's kind of lame. But some of the stuff's pretty cool. Like I got Fly working. Tier 4 spell. It's just you don't have a way to really get to tier 4 yet. Oh, I have my tier 1 spellbook / GM 2. We'll pull out a celestial spellbook. Yeah, so like revive is working, fly is working. I think fly's pretty cool. But I do have to adjust mana costs too. And timers as well. Your body feels lighter than air, your body returns to normal. What about some HUD icons that pop up bottom right side of what buffs are currently applied? Maybe even with a timer on it? Yeah, I was considering that. I would have to create a whole new HUD rendering system to like overlay on top of the other two that I have. It's coming. I've thought about it. I've thought about how to do it as well. Yeah, it's coming. I'm just not sure how to do like the timers, you know, because the problem is the timers are never 100% accurate because of the way the game processes things. Like Minecraft, I could always say, well, you know, 20 ticks in a second, right? So I can do simple math, and when I say something's going to last a minute, more times than not, I can count on that 20 ticks a second. But this game's a little different. If it starts to see drift, you know, like 1 second, it may have like 6 ticks, another second, it could have like 30. You know, so you can't really rely on a system like that, you know, to get your seconds. So you may see something where it's like, oh, I got 6 seconds left, and all of a sudden it shoots down to 1, and then 0, and then maybe a second or two later, then the spell effect will wear off. Now, I thought of doing something where, and then I got to think about the icons too, right? Because there are different powers of these spells. So the fact that I'm tier 4, if I look at my spell book, all your tier 1 spells don't become useless. They actually level up to whatever tier you're on, and they level up in their mana cost, potency, and their duration. You know, so something like Silent Steps before, for a tier 1, it cost, I think it was just 12 mana. The effect was 20%. And the duration was 60 seconds, but this one, now it's a tier 4, so it's 48 mana, 80% effect, and like 4 minutes for its duration. 6, 12, 18, 24. Yeah, so 4 minutes. You know, so, but the icon, right, I would have to have some kind of identifier with this that says like, oh, this is tier 1 or tier 2, whatever the potency is. And I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how to present that yet. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming. The buff system is working. Like, I do have a lot of spells that are working. It's just I have a lot of spells that are not. Like, once I figure out the projectile and get like an orb that looks good, that right there will handle, like, making the smaller orb will handle all 11 of the offensive, you know, spells, right, for all the elements. I just have to pick colors, kind of mix match some things, and then bam, you know, projectiles are done. Which will add 11 more spells in each tier, because there's a lot of invocation spells. But they also, I don't have the elemental system in yet, and I don't have the NPCs either. So that would be kind of an incomplete system if I add it. I also have to test to make sure all of this stuff works on multiplayer. Everything I've done, ideally I've built everything in a way to where like multiplayer would work. But, you know, until I test, you never know. I also need new models for like the celestial spellbooks and everything. I need a way to upgrade your spellbooks. I'm not sure how to do that yet, because to get your inert spellbook, right, like you kind of link it to yourself and then it becomes a lesser spellbook. And then to create the next greater spellbook, like I don't have a good way to do that upgrade yet. I was thinking you could take your lesser spellbook, you can put it in the transmutation altar, and then you can cast, you know, transmutate on it to level it up, because you have to carry over the tagging, right? The soulbound tagging. So maybe you could do something like, well, you can't even put the spellbook in because I have it restricted. But, you know, you could put like the spellbook in here, or you know what? But that would take that would be a little different. So it's like, do I make the altars only usable for that player? Do I lock those and make those spellbound? But then I'd have to save that tagging if you break the block and put it down. You know, so there's a lot of things that I still need to kind of figure out. Then no timers, but rather like how WoW has the effect on the ability when it's on cooldown. The clockwise effect that the icon is darkened, and the clock effect makes a normal brightness again. That way you would not show seconds, you had approximate time. Well, I was thinking of doing something where like when it was about to fade, it would kind of flash and become transparent for a little bit. Maybe I'll do that for like the last like 5-10 seconds. That way you can look over and be like, oh yeah, you know, it's about to, my run speed's about to wear off. So it's not just like, oh, it just stops. For tiers, maybe some fancy Roman numbers. Yeah, on the icon. Yeah. But I would probably want to do it next to it. I do have the icon. I don't know if you could see with my picture in the way. It's small, but it's like right there. I have like the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have like the you know, the color for each tier. But, you know, again, I would have to do the rendering of that image in a certain place. Maintaining screen, like making a HUD is, you know, it's not easy, but it's not, you know, it's just, it'll take a little time. But I probably should do that, huh? Have that for the initial release. So my big to-dos are, you know, I gotta find a way to where you can upgrade your staff and upgrade your spellbooks in a way that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to just, unless I make it to where like you have a lesser spellbook in your hand, and then once you're a tier 2 mage, by holding that lesser spellbook that belongs to you, maybe you will be able to kind of do like what you did here, right? Like I can hold shift and then right click, and then it will start to, you know, maybe it'll take like 40 mana points to upgrade it. That way it keeps your spellbound tag. Only you can upgrade a spellbook, so I can't throw the book to someone else who's a higher tier, have them upgrade it to the max, and then throw it back to me. You know, like they won't be able to activate anything because it's not soulbound to them. That's actually a good idea, because you're just channeling raw magic into your tools to make them better. It'll be at a heavy cost, but it's not a heavy enough cost. Like if I were to die, right, and I'm a tier 4 you know, mage right now, so my maximum mana is going to be 200 mana points, but it will start at 150, right? So I can say, oh, I got to make a new staff again, so that would be 10 mana to change the inner staff to the lesser, maybe 40 mana, right, to change that to the greater, and then maybe like 80 mana, you know. So by the time I'm ready, right, and I can meditate a little bit, maybe, you know, maybe like I would have had to spend mana. I maybe would have had to go through like one round of meditation to like recover to finish the job, but I can easily get all my tier 4 items and tools back. Or if I have extra mana, I could just make a couple copies. That way, you know, I could just grab a staff from, you know, a tool rack. Because I think I made it all tool rackable. There we go. Yeah, that's what I did. The books can be put on shelves. There we go, shelf. Right, so you can make an extra book or two and you can store them. Quiet, wolf. For the spell scrolls and how you get them, kind of something feels off for me. it would ask additional table like a magic lectern. Has a feeder and quill. Oh, okay. Feather probably. With parchments on it. And magic makes the feather move and write the spell. Yeah, I mean that's another way to do it. So for to kind of elaborate a little bit, right? You'll have your boop. So like I would have my wand, right? I would cast the spell to kind of put it in the world. And then what I would do is I would have to put, you know, either my whatever the scroll's going to be, like, you know, just use this for example. I could either put a scroll into it first and it would consume the empty scroll, and then it would be ready to go through whatever steps to create a spell scroll for my spell. Or I could do like the area of effect, like let's just say, whoops, that's area of effect. You know, so it would consume that item, and then I could do whatever the buff was going to be. Like I could cast Silent Steps into it. It would take a snapshot, and then I would have to, you know, add whatever the reagents are. And actually, what I want to do with this, I was talking with Oates about it, and he made a good point. Like there should be some kind of, you know, like trial and error, I guess you could say. So you can put mana stones in to a certain amount, but if you put too many in to try and make your spell too strong, it will have a negative effect and it could backlash onto you. So it would be up to you, you know, and there would be a little RNG there. So like, you know, you would put so many stones in and you would see like, you know, oh, your spell, like you would look at it right below where it says Circle Prism. I'll put flavor text there. And I'll kind of give visual cues too, with like rotation and maybe colors of the background, and it'll say like, you know, you know, your spell's starting to run wild, or it's starting to charge up, or, you know, things are becoming unstable, or, you know, something like that. So it's gonna be, you know, not the same, right? It takes like so many things, you know. Sorry, my keyboard's acting up lately. Summons a poltergeist. Yeah, but maybe that would be part of it. Like maybe it would be a huge mana hit to you. It could also maybe, you know, with like wild magic, maybe it does some like health damage to you, like an explosion. You know, maybe it does that and it summons like a drifter at your location, or, you know, an elemental of some kind, or maybe it pulls a wolf out, or a hyena, or, you know, something completely random, you know, that shows you like you screwed up the spell. I love how, you know, I put in like the time stop and everything, and none of it works. None of it's like permanent. As soon as you log out and log back in, you got to do it again. So it's like, what's the point? Have you've played Witcher 3? I have not. I tried to play the first Witcher. I was going to do everything. The first Witcher was so hard to play. I just stopped. I'm like, I don't like this combat. I don't know about this. Like the graphics were kind of meh. Like, I don't know. All right, I've been streaming for a while. It is time for me to take a break. I got to get something to eat. I'm hungry. Feeling a little run down. Have you seen any gameplay? Yeah, I've seen gameplay of it. Yeah. I'll wait a couple minutes here. I'll pull up Twitch. We'll see who's playing Vintage Story. Vintage Story. Wow, Quixote's playing Minecraft. All the normal people playing Vintage Story for me, they are not playing it. Interesting. So we got Dragoness. I see some new people here. What we got here? Chill Vintage Story. That's a new one. It looks like they're English. TXT Tornado. We got another one here. The Outlast Trials. All right. I guess we can Show some love to this person. Then there. Oh wait. Quick question. Have you? Okay. Have you seen Witcher 3 Elementals? I have not. And then there's a question: WoW Elementals and model design or Witcher 3 Elementals? I don't know. I still have to make an elemental as like a monster, right? I still gotta do that. All right, we're gonna. I guess we're gonna raid someone. Musculus. Oh, they don't allow people to raid them. Huh? All right. Well, that's fun. Other people. I don't know. Maybe I'll just end stream. I think it's just you here, Blurry. So I may just end stream. But yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for stopping by, Blurry. I feel like I didn't get too much done this stream, but I guess that's okay. Sometimes it's not bad to have a non-productive stream. I'm just tired. I think that's the problem. I'm just tired. I think I'll start working on, you know, like maybe I'll do some modeling for the spell books, finish out the modeling for the staves. I'll work on the gameplay loop itself. I will comment out all of the spells that are not complete, or that I know I will not complete for the alpha release. Yeah, and I'll see about just kind of getting this out so people can use it. Take care. Hope you catch up on the next stream. Yeah, yep.